You can have your chair back if you're ready. Come on. Be a sport. Ah. Good morning. Morning? No? Afternoon. Good afternoon, all. Anyway, we're going to start. It is exactly 2:00, and first called order of business would be the reading of the minutes of the last meeting. However, if you recall, at that last meeting, we told you that the minutes would be posted on the bulletin board outside the. Am I too loud in there? Okay, thought I was hearing feedback. Outside the mailboxes, and they have been there for the last month. And if there is no, what do you call it, changes or whatever, hang on, I got it written down here. Corrections or omissions. Are there any corrections or omissions to the minutes that were posted on the bulletin board? There being none, it is so ordered. Wait a minute, I think it is so ordered. I'll get that in order. Madam Treasurer, may we have your report, please?
Thank you,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
President. Down a little bit for me. Is that better? Or what is it? Can you hear me? Okay. Our home withholdings for this last month were $2,263. If you remember, I'm going to pause right there. In the past, they've been about 99. This year, we started out in January at $1,191. The reason for the big jump is because in accounting or in the bookkeeping or in the bank, whatever you want to call it, they did a catch up and they posted and found the money that they had not been posting, which was $1,203.66. We'll probably go back to the over $1,000 next month, but we have caught up for the last year. Everything that was supposed to be taken out of accounts that people had marked that they wanted taken out, and it was done improperly. They have caught up and they're up to date as of February. So start again all over. Home withholdings for this month is $2,263. From the hall box, we got $25. And from the coin jar we got $54, with a total amount of going into the Employees Appreciation Fund this month is $2,342, which brings our total up to $7,751. We are ahead of ourselves from last year right now, but that's only because of the catch-up. So pay attention to how much, when they give you your statement, make sure they're taking out what they're supposed to. If there are any discrepancies, let us know, and we will get on them and make sure that they're doing it properly. Are we holding questions till the end?
For a while.
Okay. That's the end of the treasurer's report. Oh, okay. I may take questions. Okay. You had a question? Withdrawals. Thank you, John.
When you say check your monthly statements to make sure that money's being taken out for the fund, you're talking about money being taken out has been approved by the resident and asked. They're not just willy-nilly taking everybody's money.
I'm sorry, I should
Just
wait.
just to clarify.
Yes, it's the amount that you have requested that they take out and put in the employee fund. Any other questions?
Sit down quick. I didn't say that. Did you take my paper?
I might have.
Shame on you, then you're gonna have to do the minute. Hey, you do that. Wait a minute. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda would be the reports from the committees, various committees. But before I get started in that, I would like to say a big thank you to Evelyn Rick. I was not at the previous meeting. I couldn't make it. And she took it, and she took the minutes, and she ran the meeting, and I really appreciate that. And Bruce, if you'd convey that, I'd appreciate that. So, well, it says so right there. I was not able to attend. I did. Regrettably, the meeting, the grounds committee meeting, or ground slant garden, yes, that one was very poorly attended by the people that make up the grounds committee. I will address that and fix that for next time. It was pretty pathetic. The meeting of the ground slant garden committee was mostly about the garden, and that's as it should have been because the other people weren't there. I will highlight some of the items that were brought up during that meeting of the ground slant garden committee. The thistles out and about just about everywhere are starting to come back. It's not good. The gardeners that deal with that have a program in place, and they are working on keeping them down as best they can, or eradicating them where they can. There was a question on the fountain pumps, of which we have several fountains. I think only one of them is working. The pumps, it's not a quick fix. It's not an inexpensive fix. And specifically how they're going to do that and fix it and make them work is a plan. And the plan's probably going to be a plan for a while. But it's not a forgotten issue, and staff does know about it and they're working on it. Wildlife is not a problem. We appreciate that. The big bad guys are not making a presence. However, there have been spotted some quail. And quails are nice to have. It's nice to have them back, and they have been seen. They can be disturbing in that when they take off and fly, they are a bird. Their wings make a whole lot, and it could startle you. But fortunately, bobcats and those types don't fly. And they I lost it. Went away. Quail have a nice little top knot. If you haven't seen them before, they're nice little animals. In the North Mall planting area, I'm not sure where that is. Landscapers have submitted a proposal to be addressed along with new planting at the site of the former trailer kitchen. What do you call it? Kitchen trailer. Yeah, so there are planting plans to keep or improve the aesthetics of the campus, and they're working on that. And of new items, there was a request to have it doesn't say it says request to pick up broken umbrella. So I don't know if that's singular or plural. Outside the dining room. Again, I don't know where that, I know where outside the dining room is. I have not seen anything broken or etc. But it was brought to the attention of Matt. And Matt is the liaison with the garden committee with staff. So hopefully Matt is going to find something to do with that. For the garden plan, Matt presented a proposal from Brightview being the contractor that is tasked with or hired to pull the weeds, plant plants, keep the appearance for the most part of the campus nice. So Matt has presented a proposal from Brightview, which includes only new planter boxes in the garden area. It did not address the repair of existing boxes or wood retaining walls. We need hardware cloth, a water line, hose, bibs, I don't know what a bib is, soil for boxes, and the sufficient clearance for power chairs and walkers in the area. So there is a plan for that. However, the current plan does not include some of the items of the previous plan. So now they're going to look, and Ken, too many Kens, Ken Bentley. No, if he was there, I would have said that too. Okay. Anyway, Ken and Robert will work on the new proposal. They're going to try and find the author of the previous proposal, put the two together, and come up with a workable plan that we can get done, get the garden the way we want it, the way you guys want it, so that it can be useful to you, not just for out there walking around and saying, oh, isn't that pretty, but actually do some planning and pulling of flowers or plants to eat, if that's what you want, and that is okay with the people that have planted it. So that was what I have to report on the Ground Slant Garden Committee. I would remind you again, I guess I reminded you first. No, I will now. I will be posting the minutes of the Ground Slant Garden Committee in the same place as the Residents Open Council meeting outside the mailboxes on the bulletin board. So those minutes will be available to you all to look at and make comments on, recommendations, etc. So are there any questions or inputs concerning the Ground Slant Garden Committee? No. Thank you. Again, Bruce, please convey to Evelyn my thank you. Oh. Don't want to. Behave. Building committee. Ann, would you please? And while you're at it, if you can address the board of trustees.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. The Board of Trustees will have their meeting on March the 18th, 19th. I'll be attending that via Zoom since it's in Covina, and I will have a Board of Trustees report at our next meeting on the 26th of March. As far as the building committee is concerned, we've met on the 13th of February. The first thing we talked about was the Siminoff Center, the entire building, not just the chapel or the lodge, but the entire building. We have been proposing for a couple of years that this building needs to be repainted. And once again, it is not included in the fiscal year budget for 2025, so we're hoping that it will be included in the 2026 budget. We're also concerned about the leakage from the roof in the lodge room from the rain a couple of years ago when the tree came down and hit the corner of the building. They've just been putting Band-Aid on that every year. And this year it was pretty soaked in there for a couple of times when it rained. So we're hoping that they get that fixed very soon. As far as the elevator project is concerned, they're still waiting for HCUC, and when that is approved, they will begin the work in Lorber first. And it's estimated that the project and construction at Lorber will take approximately 10 weeks. And after that is completed, then they will come over here to Sedam and work on those. I wish they'd get the one fixed that's been broken again. So does Evelyn. Those two elevator projects are first. And as soon as Lorber is finished, then they'll start working on Sedam. We discussed the There have been suggestions that the indoor plants, which are not being taken care of properly, we made a recommendation to administration that all the indoor plants be converted to artificial plants. Whether that happens or not, we're not sure, but the cost effectiveness of maintaining indoor plants is pretty exorbitant, and if nothing's being done, then we recommended that they just go on to artificial plants. You'll notice out here that these out here are very seldom taken care of here in the foyer. So that was one of our reasons for requesting that they replace them with artificial plants. We looked at samples for the carpeting down in the auditorium. We made our recommendation for the kind of carpeting and the color that we thought was appropriate. And the whole committee was in agreement on the same thing. So we passed that on to administration for action. And our next meeting will be on March the 13th, and I'll have another report for you at this time next month. Thank you. Yes, Susie. Okay, the remark was that some of the plants are personal plants. If anybody has personal plants, we'll let you know. Well, first of all, come and tell me who's got personal plants out there. I know Susie does, but everybody that has a personal plant, there'll be a flyer put out to contact a member of the committee. We'll make sure that you can get your plants out of there before anything is happening, okay? Yes. Don.
On the elevators, am I to understand that the one that is broken in Saddam is going to be that way until after the ones in Louisville have been fixed?
No, I would presume that they're going to fix that one. I don't even know what's wrong with it. I don't think it just is temporarily not being used. I have no idea what the
for a couple weeks now.
Well, I have no idea what the problem is, so I'll have to ask Matt or somebody in facilities if that's going to be repaired soon, because that's essential to have both of those elevators in operation. I'll check on that and let you know. Anybody else? Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Ken. Anything for anybody who wants to bring forward from old business? Let me think. Would you take your mic, please? Take Susie your mic. Hang on. I thank you for moving back over here. You're over here, and then I wasn't going to be able to find you. Yeah. I can see her. Like I said, I thank you for moving back. You.
A couple months ago, I had asked Soledad about a personal advocate for our residents.
Excuse me. Personal what?
Personal advocate for our residents that are in Lorber.
Okay.
And she indicated that yes, they do have them. When I did call the person, she told me to call. That person said that she was not a personal advocate because was not trained for that. I would like you, the resident council, to go over these papers, see and find out if there is any personal advocate for our residents.
Okay. I will take these to
I
the.
brought four,
Huh?
so that you can discuss.
I brought four
I will take
copies
these
of
to
it.
the council, and the council would discuss them.
Yes, and
Thank
then
you.
I would also like to know ahead of time whether we do or we don't.
Okay.
But you're not really it doesn't have to be tomorrow.
Thank you. Keep your eye on the minutes.
Okay. And then for personally, I was wondering, I know that they make arrangements for the first people that are married for anniversaries, that they get an anniversary dinner. I was wondering if they could do something special for the single people on their anniversary when they move in here.
That would be a very good question to ask the town hall in about half an hour.
You don't ask questions at the town hall until the very end.
That's correct.
And then you are pushed than to asking real quick questions. So if I ask you guys, you can answer, you can go to them when it's nice and easy and they can say yes or no.
I will bring that up to the town hall for you this afternoon.
Okay, and it's amazing
I
how many
will, I
people
will
are on the
preface
same
it saying,
day.
Susie would like to know, and then I will put the question to her.
Susie, second South Susie.
Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you had something. Yes, Jim.
I think you can hear me. Susie, I had a question. What's the difference between an advocate and the ombudsman from the state? Are they functionally the same thing?
Turn the phone number over to Chris. They call Chris. They do not look into anything. They just listen to your gripe and then they call Chris. Part of the problem that you're having or that we're having is that what the home seems to think is, yes, seems to think is a good thing for the patient is not what the patient needs to hear. Is not. Nobody is listening to the patient. Nobody is giving the patient their respect. They're following the orders of the doctors correctly all the time. It's
Susie,
very sad.
Susie, where do you get your information? You're saying they don't get respect, they don't get whatever you're saying. Where do you get your information about these
From the person
residents?
lying in bed waiting for somebody to help them.
Okay, does
And
it matter
and they're-
who helps them? To them? Do they care? If they had somebody that you're talking about, would that be okay with them?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
My question is leading up to, would you be a personal advocate for these people that you're talking, or even just one?
That's a big responsibility.
Well, I know, but you're thinking this is a great idea, and I think it is too.
It's not a great idea. It's mandatory.
Okay, would you step up and do that, please?
No, you have to be.
No.
You have to go to class. You have to pass.
Okay, I can't speak to that because I've never heard the term before.
What,
So again,
adversary?
let's bring it up to the town hall. They're the people that have the information. The council does not.
Well, they may be already. May have already taken care of the problem because Soledad was shocked that the gal who was supposed to be the advocate for our patients was not, because she wasn't trained for that.
Okay, so that's fine. Yeah, we'll look into it. Just a minute. Okay, thank you. Yes, Marty.
I think what we're needing to know, does a patient advocate have to be a staff member or can it be a resident?
Okay, and again, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah,
The staff
yeah,
would know that.
we'll need to find out. And if the advocate turns out to be a resident, who does the resident answer to?
Would you bring that question up at town hall, please? Any other questions or
It
answers
seems
or
to me that
ideas?
if we aid, support, and protect each other and look out for each other, that's advocate. That's how you do that. If you have a friend that doesn't feel good and they need help and they can't do it themselves, and you find somebody to help them, I think that's the way that works. Okay?
I don't know. Like I said, I've never heard the term before. Yes, sir.
I've been in labor for a couple of years now, and I'm about to be discharged back to living.
Congratulations.
Level of care. But I want to absolutely agree with everything that Susie has said about the lack of the staff listening to, working with the residents or patients or whatever you want to call us over there, or victims. I have pushed my nurse button because I needed to go to the bathroom and waited an hour. A lot of what goes on over there is plain bullshit.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any other different subjects? This one, a different one? Any ideas? Attaboys? Larry? Hang on a minute, wait for the mic. You don't have some big voice. You got a big voice with the mic. Sorry.
When was it decided to move the council meeting to the chapel today?
You say
And why
who's-
was it kept a secret?
It was promulgated, I guess, to our people, i.e. the home. It didn't get over apparently to Acacia. I don't know why. It should have. That was a drop. It did not. Okay. It was a ball that got dropped. We have known about it for what, a week, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. And it was passed out at our lunch meetings, and there was a flyer that went around. You sure?
Where did the flyer go?
All right. I had that one wrong. So the sounds like what happened is wrong. It didn't get promulgated the way it should have in Acacia or here, and hopefully it'll not happen again. We'll have to be back over where we belong.
Yeah, if the flyer gets in our mailbox at the home, then we'll pick it up. We've known about it. We wouldn't have burst in on somebody's dinner today.
Yeah. Anybody else? I have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? We are adjourned at 2:27. Our next meeting, I don't have written down. March 26th. Thank you. So March 26th. Hopefully that the next meeting will be in the dining room. No, sorry. In the
Savoy.
that place. It's over there somewhere.
Auditorium. Yes. All right for me to. Okay, all right, well, I'm just. Yeah, I talked to Chris, 'cause she's the one, Chris is our. Okay. Yeah, all right.
Good or bad? Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry we were running a little late. Thank you for making the accommodation to meet us here. As I said, we had a little snafu with the schedule, but we got everybody up here. And those of you who are at home, um, hopefully you'll have, we will give you information that you are needing. So we're going to start with a couple of updates before we get to the team. The cookies that are out there, please help yourselves. It was a donation, and we will be sharing the wealth with the rest of the campus for Lorber, Wallenberg, and Pavilion. So please help yourselves. Um, I know Jeremy will probably speak a little bit about this, but I want to remind everybody that we still have an egg shortage. And I have received some emails and phone calls about, I want uh, to have my eggs the way you normally have them for breakfast, whether it be over easy or hard boil or what have you. But right now, all that the dietary team is using is liquid eggs. So bear with us. Unfortunately, it's not just the Masonic home; it's everywhere. If you've gone to the store and if you are lucky to find them, um, my daughter recently bought a dozen for $9+ a dozen, and she found one. So it was more, a dollar an egg. So that's what she paid for. So please bear with us, and as soon as the shortage is gone, as soon as we know, we will give that information to you, and we will continue on. For at fireside, any question? Oh, let me go back. Not any questions. We will leave the questions to the end. So please bear with us. Power chairs. At Fireside Chat, you brought up the fact that we needed a little reminder, and I told you that we were going to send out the policy out to all of you so we can have a refresher on what the policy says with power chair and scooters users in the dining room. Thank you, Marty. I did not send it out because thank you, Susie, for bringing that up, because after I spoke to a few independent residents and a few residents who use power chairs in the dining room, I talked to Chris, and we're gonna take another look. If you remember correctly, the policy was done when we had two seatings, the early seating and the later seating for both lunch and dinner. So that's when we decided to go ahead and have the power chairs come in first, 15 minutes before, and then raise their hand. Whoever's in the power chair or a scooter, raise their hand, and the staff would come and take the orders and so on and so forth. Now that it's open seating, I still see that they first come in, but not as much, because now you have the wait. You can come in between for lunch between 11 and 1. So that's the time that you come in and you have your lunch, and the same thing for dinner. There's a little bit of bottleneck at the beginning, but not so much. I've seen maybe two or three. One of the things that came to me, and this came from independent residents, they said, after Fireside Chat, they said, we do understand what they're coming from, because when we sit down, I have a power chair and I sit down, the waiter or waitress will go and bring me what I ask for. Maybe they bring, if I say small portions, I know what my small portion is, but maybe the people in the dining room don't know what that means. Maybe they bring a little bit less or a little bit more. And someone said, we eat with our eyes. And that's very true, right? When we see the food, we go, oh, yeah, I would like some of that. And when we're going down the line, if we see, oh, I like those potatoes, maybe I want three instead of two, because I just saw that they look good, that, they were appetizing. When you go and sit down at the table, you don't see it. Even if you have the display, it's not the same thing because you're smelling, you go through, and again, people eat with their eyes. So we haven't had an accident. The reason we did the policy at that time is we had a couple of power chair users going in and out in a very fast pace and so on and so forth. So when I spoke to people, both independent without um, power chairs and to people that have power chairs, they brought this up. It's not fair to us to ask us to go and sit and not being able to go through the line to see what we really want. And so even a couple of the independent people that I spoke to, they said, yeah, I understand what they're going through because I want to see what I'm going to choose, what I want to eat. So I think we're going to revisit that. But I think it's important that we all get the opportunity. And someone also said, well, why don't we just get all the independent people and have them eat somewhere else? That was just a joke. That was just a joke. But we need to be very careful. We need to be able to accommodate everybody. You all live here, whether you have a walker, a power chair, or you're independent without any assistive devices, and we have to try to accommodate everyone. So, no, I didn't send out the policy. We're going to be looking at it again. And again, now it's open seating. We don't have such a bottleneck at the beginning, and I think everybody has the right to be able to go through the line and see what kind of food they have and what you would like, if you want a little bit more, a little bit less, and so on. So that's the other update I wanted to give you. The next update is the large bus is gone. I don't know if those of you who go around and walk around, so the bus is gone. We did give it, we had it donated to uh, a nonprofit organization, Modesto Gospel Mission. That's who the bus went to, and hopefully they will use it as parts. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but we've done all the proper documentation to release us from the bus. So thank you for Ralph for getting that information to me. And I was working with Ralph and Larry and whoever worked their magic, and that's what happened. So thank you, Larry, for also looking at and see if we can find someone to take the bus. So the bus is gone, and we are there. The other update is I owe you an org chart for next month. When we meet, I will have org chart ready to go. I know there's been some changes and people are asking, okay, well, I need this or I need that, or who do I go for this? So I will have an org chart ready for you next town hall. And one of the reasons is, I was gone for a couple of days. I had to go to Sacramento, and I have emails, and if I don't get to those emails on time, people want to email me for boxes, or people want to email me to get odds and ends. And I need, and by the time I get to the emails, they say, oh, I already got it. Somebody already helped me with it. So I think an org chart would be really helpful. If I don't get to those emails, somebody else can help you, and that would help expedite whatever your needs are. I think that would be helpful. If you go through the right channels, obviously, if nothing happens, if you call, Jesse, I'm going to pick on Jesse. If you call Jesse 3 times and nobody gets back to you, then you can come to me and say, hey, Soledad, I've been calling Jesse, or I have no response, or what have you. So then I can step in. But other than that, I think an org chart is very helpful. An org chart, organization chart. Yes, organization chart, an org chart. All right. The last couple of things, not the last, but we received, and you will see in the messenger, we received a donation of 36 lift recliners. You will see that in the messenger. 3 lodges came together to make this donation. They made this donation a while back, a few years back, on other recliners. And I spoke to Cynthia. What we want to do with these recliners is go to the people that really, really need. I know we all need, but I know that we have the population over in Lorber. We wanna set them up with if we see recliners that are falling apart, or maybe somebody can use that. That's where we're going to start, and then we're going to share the wealth with everybody else. But we're gonna take it as a need basis. So we're going to start with Lorber, and then we'll go from there. The donation was from Humboldt Lodge number 79, Six Rivers Lodge number 106, and Naval Lodge number 87. The gentleman I spoke to, he wants to remain anonymous. He said he didn't do this to get um, recognition. This is something that he feels strongly about, to be able to provide any type of donation that, last time he did a donation for the home, maybe 10 years ago or more, on other recliners. He thought they were very well received, and he wanted to do that again. So just want to let you know that. Um, as you all know, I said on my memo on Kim's departure that we were going to have things set in place so you would know who to go to. I just wanted to let you know that we're working on that. But so far, what we have already set in place about the events, any Masonic lodges that meet here, or York Rite, any Masonic bodies, you can call Jen McCrae, and we will move. Jen McCrae will do the reservations of those bodies to either the lodge, or I know they meet out here in the foyer often. So those will continue to be, and Jen will be taking care of that, and she's also taking care, as she's always been doing, for the volunteer services. Okay, volunteers, residents, and community volunteers. She's been taking care of that. The other community other community events like we had today, the Spirit Awards, those would be handled by Marisol and Jen going forward. We have very few, but when we do, we will have those. And then Ranchu will take care of the things that belong to, I should say, to Terry and Terry's area. Like the holiday party, the resident holiday party, the tree lighting, obviously with the team to help out, and grand annual communication part, all that. Of course, Luz will be part of that because of the bus and the coordination of the buses and transportation going with that. So that's how we have it so far. I will send out a memo giving you the specifics so you know who to go to, and obviously with the org chart for next month, you will have it ready. You will have that ready, so in case you need to contact anyone. So with that said, those are my updates for today, and we're going to go ahead and start with Jody to give us an update on MCYAF. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. As a reminder, my name is Jody Michael. I'm with the Masonic Center for Youth and Families, the former event house up on the hill. And so I have some just updates in terms of where we are in the community and outreach to our Masonic family. Janine, our clinical director, and I have been doing a lot of support over at Acacia Creek, and we were very lucky to attend their wellness and health fair. If anybody happened to have been there last month at the end of July or January. So we were there for their wellness and health fair and to support their movement campaign. So there'll be some more partnerships of support with Acacia Creek as well. At the beginning of this month, I was very lucky to attend a Job's Daughter leadership training up in Folsom. I don't know how many former Job's Daughters we have in the room. So it was a really wonderful event of coming together to meet the adult leaderships, to talk through mental health needs, wellness needs, and to be invited to come back in other capacities to support the young ladies of our Masonic family. This past weekend, myself and my MOS colleagues, we tabled out in Fresno. I keep mixing up Folsom and Fresno. So we were in Fresno. That's right. It's a world tour over here. So this past weekend, MOS and myself were up in Fresno, and we did some outreach to our Prince Hall community. And so it was a really lovely 2-day event where we got to come together and support the needs of our Prince Hall family. And so that's so far for Northern California. In our Southern California, where we have our other clinic on the campus of Covina, our senior director, Lisa Goodwin, some of you might know her. She attended a beautiful event. We're very proud to have had her attend a resource and recovery outreach event for those impacted by the recent Southern California fires. And there were over 126 different community partners that came together to support the community. So certainly our Masonic family was represented in that community support. And the following weekend, also very busy for our dear Lisa, at the request of the Southern California DMOLE, Lisa facilitated a training for the adults on ways to interact with neurodivergent youth. And that's one of the programs that we're really passionate about, is customizing presentations for our youth orders. So that's a little bit of the busyness we've had in the past month. So thank you.
Thank you, Jody. We're going to go ahead and have Cynthia come up and give us her update for today.
Good afternoon. I'm Cynthia Cruz. I'm the administrator at Norber Skilled Nursing Facility. So some recreation updates. Just wanted to share with you that we did have some residents and they went to go bowling today. They still continue with their monthly outings, going to restaurants. I think that a couple of weeks ago they went to the movies, and today they're enjoying themselves, having fun, going on these outings, and we do select different residents to go. We continuously have therapy dogs that come in to visit the residents. I think they have 2 different dogs that come in, so the residents love it. They go room to room and they just visit with the residents. And music therapy programs, we still do have a lot of people that continuously come over and perform music type activities, and they do enjoy it. We do have a lot of people that come in when they have singers when they play musical instruments. So upcoming for March, they have bluegrass. I guess that's a band, and they have Irish music that's going to be coming, and they usually celebrate with during St. Patrick's Day. Mariachi band is coming. A magician is coming for entertainment, and they're going to start in with their new Norber University classes for the residents. That's all that we have for activities, and we are still continuing to keep our residents safe. We do not have any COVID in the building. We haven't had it for quite several weeks, which is a good thing, because this time of the year, I know we usually have a big outbreak. So right now we're okay. I do still remind the visitors that come in that if they would like to be safer and if they would like to keep our residents safer, to wear a mask, but it's not required. It's just staff are still required to wear masks. I think that's all I have. Thank you. So you want to come up?
It's still too short. Yeah. That's okay. I can read it. Hey, everybody. Afternoon. I'm Saul Silverman. I'm the Director of Masonic Assistance and Outreach, here to provide an update on Masonic Outreach Services. It's been a really busy start to the year for us. So January and February have been super busy. It's always a busy time of the year. We send in December, I may have mentioned this to you guys, that we send a letter to every surviving spouse in our rosters, which is several thousand, and so as a result, we get a lot of calls from that. And then obviously there were the LA wildfires, and then we've just had a lot of requests for assistance. So the team has been really busy. We served in January 285 clients across Masonic Senior Outreach, Masonic Family Outreach, and Distressed Worthy Brother Fund programs. We're continuing to offer financial assistance to those who are impacted by the LA wildfires. And Terry actually has a letter that is going out that we're sending to anyone who is a member or surviving spouse who lives in one of these fire impacted regions. So we're going to send a physical letter and an email encouraging them to call us if they need any kind of assistance. So we're hoping that all of our members and surviving spouses who have been impacted call us so we can support them with financial assistance and care management services. So if you happen to know of anyone who lives in one of those areas, please encourage them to call the Masonic Assistance Team so that we can immediately provide assistance. As Jody mentioned, we were also, just like MCYF, all over the state, out in the community and out in lodges, and we were at the Prince Hall Robert W. Brown Council of Deliberation. That was the event in Fresno that Jody mentioned. That was great. We had a lot of interest in our programs and services from the Prince Hall members there. We were upcoming going to be we're going to be presenting at a district school of instruction in San Francisco at the Scottish Rite Masonic Center on March 20th. And then our lodge outreach trainings, we're in the midst of a ton of trainings, and I'm really excited about the ones we're doing right now because we've had a ton of attendance. We had 2 meetings that we've done recently in the last couple of weeks where we had over 50 attendees at each meeting. So there's a lot of engagement right now. And so that's exciting for us. So we did the Division 8 meeting on February 8th. That was at Widow's Sons Lodge in Temecula. On the same day, we also facilitated a Division 10 meeting at Welcome Lodge number 255 in Lemoore. And then this past weekend, we were in Oceanside for Division 9. We facilitated at the Oceanside San Dieguito Lodge number 381. And then we have 3 meetings that are coming up. Divisions 1 and 2 are going to meet via Zoom on March 13th. And then on March 22nd, we have 2 meetings. For Division 3, we'll be at San Leandro Lodge number 113 in San Leandro. And then Division 4 will meet at Tyrian Lodge number 439 in Manteca. And yeah, it's a lot of stuff. And that's all I have. Thank you, everybody.
Still not.
Before I bring Jeff up to give his update, there's a couple of things that I did forget. And before I forget, I want to make sure I let you know. When we last saw each other at Fireside Chat, those of you who were there, I let you know that we had just had our skilled nursing survey and our life safety survey. Well, guess what? And I told you we were waiting for the annual yearly to come by, and it happened. On February 14th, we received a visit from 2 surveyors from the state of California, and they were here to do their yearly survey. And glad to inform that we didn't get any citations or any deficiencies. There was a couple of things that they wanted us to work on. So there always is. If they don't find anything, they'll give us a little bit of some information that is always good to have. So I just wanted to let you know, we have been through the ringer in the last month or so, and we did great. So I just wanted everybody to know. And I know this is going to come up a little bit later. We are working. I know we have some transportation, some people that, some drivers that are out ill, or I know we have some, one on vacation, and we also had one that has left the community. So we are looking for a driver, and we have other things that we will be talking about, because I know that it's come to my attention that many of you don't want to use GoGo. You guys don't want to use that type of transportation. And I was hoping, and I'm watching the heads nodding, no, no, even independent residents. But we need to come together. Chris and I and Gladys are going to be talking about this and see what we need to do. I also need to remind you that if you are an independent resident, you are able to make your own medical appointments. If we need transportation, then you can let Jocelyn know that you need transportation, but if you don't have your car. But other than that, you should be able to make your own medical appointments if you're independent. I just want to remind you of that. And I know there's a lot of questions around that, and I will be answering some of the questions later on, once we are through. And Jeff is here to give us some updates on facilities.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Carlick. I'm Assistant Facilities Director. And I just have a few announcements of some things that are going on and some things that are going to happen in the near future. The first one will be this Saturday down at the lower lot, at the entrance to the lower lot. We're going to have our landscapers are going to be installing a new water pipe for irrigation. So at times Saturday we'll be down to one lane. So if you're driving down there, drive slow and use caution, please. The road portion should be completed Saturday. And they're also going to have a crew out Saturday to pick up all the dead palm fronds that are laying on the ground on the hillsides. So I'll be glad to see them gone. They're currently working on the north stairway in the main building. They're redoing the rubber. That's a pretty extensive job. They was trying to get done Saturday, but I went and checked today. I think they'll probably be done Monday or Tuesday. So try to avoid that stairwell. If you have to use it for a fire evacuation or something, please be cautious. Be careful. We got the new carpet for the auditorium and First Sedan ordered. So I'm hoping to get that installed sometime next month. That's my goal. And our 5 room renovations, we're coming along really nicely on them. We'll have one completed probably in 2 weeks, maybe 3 if there's a lot of loose ends, and then the remaining 4 will be 3 to 4 weeks after that. So I'm really glad we're closing up on them. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeremy?
Hi, everyone. Jeremy Garrett, Director of Dining Services. First, I'd like to thank everyone who came to our Lunch and Learn last week. We invited Acacia Creek and Masonic Homes. We had over 50 people sign up for the lunch. It was a good event. We're actually getting a lot of Acacia Creek people coming to our dining room now, because they've gotten to try our food. So welcome them when you see them. Eggs. So like Soledad started, eggs have been an issue. I have not gotten any update on when we're going to be getting them in. And with Easter coming up, I don't know if it's going to be, anytime soon. Events for next month. March 13th, we are having our dining committee. This one is going to be open to all. I think on the calendar, it shows that's going to be in the sunroom. It's actually going to be in the multi-purpose room. That's on March 13th at 2 o'clock. Everyone's welcome. March 16th, we're having our monthly brunch. And March 21st, our monthly food forum, highlighting the superfood legumes. One exciting thing coming up don't have an exact date yet, but we will be launching our new spring menu. So for all those of you who are tired of the menu, in the next 3 weeks, we should be getting a date set and we'll let you know. And last but not least, we have a new member to our management team. His name's Alex Barrios. I'd like him to come up and say hello.
Hi, how are you? My name's Alex. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. So just a little bit about myself. I've been in California for 10 years now. I'm originally from Miami. My background is Cuban, Mexican, German. I lived in Miami for 24 years of my life. As a chef for the last 23 years. So now this is me kind of breaking out of that role into like more of an administrative role. And I look forward to meeting all of you and getting to learn. Alex. So I will also be overseeing the tray line. I'll be overseeing the dining room. I'll be taking care of any room service orders or things like that. You'll see me walking through the halls. I'll be walking with carts, checking in on trays. I'll be handling gripes, good conversations I'll be handling as well. So if you get a knock on your door, if you have an issue with anything from tray line or anything around that, I'll be coming and talking to you and we'll have a nice chat. Again, I am super excited to be here. This is definitely something new for me and I can't wait to grow in my role and be able to meet all of you. Yes. And that's it for me.
No, we're not done yet.
You mentioned that there was Cuban in your background.
Yes.
And you've been a chef, cooking for many, many years.
Mhm.
Does that mean we're going to be eating live coals in the dining room? Are you going to be heavy-handed with the spices, or can you have some mild and some
So,
fiery?
it's a great bit of news. I won't be touching the food at all. I won't be cooking at all. I'll just be overseeing and making sure that everybody gets what they need. I used to be a chef, so this is me kind of breaking out into my administrative role. So I do have a lot of, background in that. So with the tray line, I can kind of be like, oh, this doesn't look right. We need to get it redone by the kitchen staff and things like that. So I have a lot of know-how and intuitive with some of those things. And just so you know, Cuban food is spice, not spicy. So kind of like Indian food, there's a lot of cumin, a lot of oregano, a lot of things like that, and a lot of garlic and citrus. Okay. Perfect. Yes, and I'm excited to be here once again. Thank you so much. Yep.
What a way to put him on the spot, Marty. What a way to put him on the spot. I do have another person that needs to give her update, and I know she's a little nervous, so let's give her a big welcome. Luz is going to come and give her update for all of us. Come on up, Luz, and I think she has great news too.
I'm not nervous anymore. I'm just kidding, I am. Hi everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Luz Garcia. I'm the active living guide. Just kidding. Active living program supervisor. It's taken me a time to get used to that. Okay, so I do have a couple things to talk about. Most importantly, the activity planning meeting. The last one we had was really well attended. I expect to see more people. Remember, these are your outings, your activities. And I have moved it to Saturday. So it's gonna be the first Saturday of March at 1:30 in the auditorium. Yes, so that's this Saturday. So make sure you bring your ideas, suggestions, anything, okay? And also that day, we do have the Girl Scouts coming back. There was a couple residents that mentioned they missed it. So they will be here March 1st, also from 11 to 12 in the Adams building. So Second Adams, the lounge area. They'll be here for a little hour. They will be selling cookies. Let's see. There is, just to touch a little bit on this week coming up, there is a craft on Monday with Justin. I believe the sign-up sheet already went up. There's quite a bit of you that already signed up. That's at 1:30 in the craft room. Tai Chi will be the 5th and the 19th of this month. So that's Wednesday at 2:30 in the Grider Gym. We had a very good turnout this last time. Let's keep that. We want to have Michelle from Fremont Body and Brain come back more. How are you guys liking that? She's great, isn't she? Awesome. And then the Mardi Gras party will be next Friday. That is, I believe, the 7th. Is that the 7th? The 7th at 2 o'clock in the auditorium. We are going to do a St. Patrick's Day social on the 17th, and there will be karaoke on the 14th. I know you guys are really enjoying that. We're going to try to keep it going monthly. And then one thing, we do have the new wellness coordinator officially starting today. He's in the back. Antonio, do you want to come up here and introduce yourself? So he'll be here Monday through Friday from 7 to 3:30. I'm going to give him at least 3 days to settle in, and then we can bombard him with questions on March 4th at 2:30 in the Grider Gym. Alrighty. Sorry, Antonio. He literally just finished orientation. He's already talking to you all.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Antonio. A little bit about myself. I've been in fitness for about 2.5 decades. I used to be the fitness director for 24 Hour Fitness. You guys have any questions on fitness or any programming you need or questions I can answer, I'll be here. I'm very excited. This is kind of a new kind of thing for me as well. But I'm very, very excited to be a part of your community.
All right. It looks like we're moving. My goodness, everybody's moving quite quickly on their updates. I want to now let Terry has a couple of things that she wants to talk to us about. So Terry, come on up.
Thanks, Soledad. Good afternoon, everyone. Terry Quigley, President and CEO of Masonic Homes in Acacia Creek. Woo! It's been a busy month or so. Busy down in Covina as we're opening skilled nursing there, and actually had our first admission beyond the folks who'd been come back from outplacement. We're actually starting to do some admissions down there. So lots of good stuff happening down there, and lots of great stuff happening up here too. So congratulations to Cynthia and to Jeff for the skilled nursing survey. For those of you who haven't ever seen or experienced one, it is something to behold. We had 5 surveyors here for 4.5 days. It's as close to a white glove inspection as you're ever going to get. They touch everything, talk to everyone, look at every record to make sure that we're doing everything as it should be, and the results were spectacular. It was an incredibly well done survey, despite the fact that we have increased the census in skilled from the last time we had a survey. We probably had an average census of about 50 maybe, and we're at about 75 to 78 right now. So even though we're serving more people, they knocked it out of the park and did an incredible job. Jeff led the life and safety survey for us from environmental and facilities, and had the best survey that we've had from life and safety as well. So hats off to the team. It was an incredible effort on everybody's part. We are the only 5-star rated skilled nursing facility in the area. Had a conversation with Washington Health. They're no longer known as Washington Hospital. They're known as Washington Health. And they too know our reputation and are interested in developing a partnership with us in skilled nursing. So hats off to the team. Some things that we are working on, our census is down here at Masonic Homes in Union City. We have 47 open units. 47, it's a lot, I know. We've seen a lot of new residents coming in, but we've also lost a number of residents. So As we've talked about, you can't serve your mission if the units aren't occupied. So we're working very hard to make sure Saul and Soledad and the sales team here in Union City are working hard to make sure that we can get our campus fully occupied. So you'll see more and more effort in that regard from us. Congrats to Saul and the fire relief efforts that occurred in Southern California. It was really incredible to watch our MOS team and our Covina campus team rally together very, very quickly to offer people that were affected by the fires emergency relief, whether that was financial relief to be able to, people that were evacuated. There's no insurance for evacuation. So if you had to go stay at a hotel or you didn't have time to gather things that you might need, there's no financial assistance for that. So for Masons and our Masonic family, we were able to help people with emergency relief. We even housed, or still housing, a gentleman who lost his apartment in the fire, and so he's being housed in Covina. All that happened incredibly quickly, literally within 24, 48 hours, that plan was put together. And there were about 1,100 Masonic-related individuals who were either evacuated or actually had some sort of damage in their home or their business. And so we're making great efforts to reach out to them to make sure that not only are their short-term needs met, but as they go through this transition of rebuilding their lives, how can we help them in that effort? So I'm very, very proud of what's been happening down in Southern California. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you the Girl Scout cookies that you're enjoying today and help yourself to were donated by a Mason. His name is Johnny Law. I went down to San Francisco and collected 84 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. So we're spreading the love across the campus, but please enjoy them and know that they were donated because he is a brother and wanted to make sure that he was sharing the wealth with the home. They're right outside the door. You can't miss them. Today. Yeah.
You have to stay for the
Yeah. She's like, you don't need to listen to me. You need to go get your cookies. And finally, I wanted to mention the fact that it March the 19th is the 175th anniversary of California Freemasonry. 175 years. April 19th. I was so close. I knew it was the 19th. I was so close. She was like, wrong month, right day, wrong month. So on April 17th, California Masons are organizing, and they're all tasked to find an opportunity to do community service throughout California. So we are collaborating with local lodges that might want to come on campus here in Covina to be able to do some projects with us. And then on the 19th, we'll be celebrating. There are 4 galas going on across the state of California, all happening at the same time to celebrate the anniversary. And here at the Masonic Homes in Union City and in Covina, we will have a reception in the afternoon that will be, and a program will be led by one of the AGLs in the area. So want you all to put it on your calendar, April 19th. In the afternoon. I don't know if there's a program that is way above my pay grade, but will be it's worthy of celebration for sure. 175 years of Freemasonry. So we look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you.
For that day, for those of you who will be here, if you're going to be participating in those other 4 areas, we will have a flyer. We will have more information of what we will be doing. It's going to be a reception down in the auditorium, and we're going to have a message from the Grand Master, and we will televise it or put it on the screen there so you all can enjoy. Okay, with that said, questions. I'm opening it up to questions. Chris said she didn't have an update for us today. Evelyn?
First question. On the donation of the recliners, If residents would like to write a thank you note to the donor, who should those go through?
You can send them to me. Once we compile them, I will send them out to the gentleman. Yes, absolutely. Julie.
Okay, I'm after everybody. You independent people with your go bags for earthquake preparedness. I get people moving out of apartments, their living changes, whatever, and I get the go bags back through social services. The first thing I see is the paperwork they're supposed to put all their medications and everything on. Empty! Nothing on here. If there's an earthquake, you aren't going to have any medications. You probably haven't put any in your go bag like you're supposed to, about 3-4 days worth. The assisted living people are going to have the CNAs and early nursing staff taking care of their pills, but the independent people that take their own pills aren't going to have anything in here. Also, I noticed the first thing that's missing is the deck of cards. Oh, a deck of cards. I could use those now. Why keep them in there? We probably aren't going to have an earthquake anyway. The bags I get back, people have parted the things out for their use now. It's not for now. It's when you're sitting there and the building is not in living condition and you wish you had something to do. You could build a house of cards if you don't play solitaire. Something, count them. So everybody in independent living, go home, look in your go bag, see if you filled out your paperwork, see if you know what you're doing, see if you have some clothes in there. I don't want to see empty bags. I just might come around and knock on your door and say, may I see your go bag, please? One of the go bags ended up at the Employee Appreciation Fund garage sale last year. That made me feel so good. My job is important. Anyway, all right. So, in addition, I will be putting on everyone's doorstep, what have you, information about what to do in case of an earthquake. Safety tips for people with disabilities or functional problems. What to do if you're in bed, earthquake. Don't get out of bed. Stay in bed. It'll give you some good ideas here. We had the little earthquakes, and that's 3-point. That's nothing. If we get something 5-point, we may have some things falling off of shelves, whatnots and this and that. So remember, your earthquake okay flag means you're okay. Put it out on your doorstep, hang it on your doorknob. If you have a broken finger, you still have to put your okay flag out. We're looking for people who the cabinet fell over on top of them, or they're hiding in the shower in trauma, and we want to go to those doors that don't have an earthquake flag first. Everybody got that? Okay, there won't be a test, but yes, did you have a question? Oh, you have a question, yes. Not for me. Oh, I better sit down. Thank you. Julie mentioned the 3 little rumblings we had just a few weeks ago. Well, Barry and I like to sit next to the big windows in the dining room, and all of a sudden I wondered if there was a good-sized jerk that went through, would we be sitting under shattered glass?
That's a good question, and I don't have an answer for that because that's like saying, is the Bay Bridge going to fall down if, we don't know. But what we can do is look and see. I don't know how old that building is, and maybe we can have somebody come and check and just to make sure and so everybody feels that they're safe. Obviously, if it's a big shaker, it doesn't matter if you're sitting away from those windows, something may happen, but obviously we do want to make sure everybody's safe, and we can look and see if we can get someone here to come in and assess. That's what the best that we can do, assess and see, how our structure is doing in the dining room. As far as no, I would have to check with Jeff and Matt. I'm sure we have something somewhere. We can dig it up, and I think it's a good question, and I think we should be looking into, how old those windows are, and a couple of other things. Thank you. That's a very good question. Orin?
The question is for Saul. He said, "Hi, who, me?"
You got a question?
I never get questions, so I'm excited. who's talking? Oh, okay, great. Hey, Oren.
Do you, MOS or your team, do they provide advertisements or direct services to anybody outside the state of California?
Yes, if you're an active member of a California lodge, then we'll still serve you even if you're living elsewhere. But you do have to be in good standing with the California lodge.
Thank you very much.
I have a question for dining room. In the mornings especially, we only have 2 servers to pass out like the coffee and the toast and that kind of thing. And they're going crazy trying to get everybody taken care of. But yet we have the girl serving the food who once she gets it set up for a particular resident, that she has to run it over to a table for them and leave the serving area open. Why don't they have some system where the servers can turn around and get the food and take it to the tables rather than have the girl that's serving the food run all over the place?
That's something I can look into. It hasn't been brought to my attention yet, so I can talk to the dining room manager and the supervisors because see if we can work out a plan for that.
Well, it happens every morning. The poor girl that's serving the food has to take it to a table.
Mm-hmm.
And she may go to the other end of the dining room. And everybody else in line is standing there waiting to be taken care of.
Yeah, that'll definitely be addressed.
I don't know who to address this question to, so I'm going to ask Soledad. It was mentioned that we had 40-some open apartments openly. What progress is being made, if any? Are we going to be trying to get some Prince Hall people in here to fill the rooms? And what's been the response?
We have been trying. We have been, as Jody and Sol said, they were tabling. They had a table, and we are still promoting it to them. And we do have someone here from Prince Hall, obviously already in, but we're trying. We're promoting it. We're letting them know we're here. We're letting them know that we have available apartments, and hopefully, as we move forward, we continue. Hopefully we will have some people that will want to come in to the home. Yep. And Sol wants to add to that because he has more information than I do.
Yeah, so we have done a lot over the past year in outreach to the Prince Hall community, and we very much want them to want to move into both of our homes as well as access our services through Masonic Center for Youth and Families and Masonic Outreach Services. We presented at Prince Hall does these. It's a Grand Master's official visit in Northern California and then one in Southern California. So we presented at both of those last month, and then also we were at this event in Fresno, and then we'll be at several other events. We were at their annual communication last year. We'll be there again this year in July, and there is absolutely interest in the Masonic home, and it's also very new for the Prince Hall community, whereas our members have known about it for forever, right? The Masonic homes and services available to them. This is new for them, so I think it takes time for that to sink in and for them to understand, just the amount of opportunity there is available now. So I think we'll see plenty of folks move in over time.
Soledad, a clarification, where are the vacancies? What buildings are they in?
We have some on the head building. We have some in pavilion. We have some in memory care. So it's everywhere. we have, you've seen, you're part of the welcoming committee, so you've seen how many people have been coming in. So you know it's quite a bit, but we do have some empty apartments on the head building, and most of them are double occupancy on the head building, and also we have pavilion apartments. Acacia Creek has some, yes, we do have some of our assignment of asset apartments that we have over there. We do have some available. I think there's 6.
No, there's
I think
five.
there's 6, 5.
There's
Okay.
now 5.
There's now 5. So if you put them all together, that's where the 40 something comes.
This is a question, I guess, more for facilities, but I understand from the resident council meeting, the major elevator project is stalled, waiting on the state. But we've got the elevator in Saddam that's been temporarily out of order for a couple of weeks. May we have an update on that repair?
Before I go there, I would like to address your question about the dining room windows. I perform disaster drills in Lorber twice a year. And for earthquake and some other disasters, the first thing that you're to do is to get away from all windows, chandeliers, anything that might fall on you. So if you're eating there and the glass starts to shake, just get away from there. And your question on the Saddam number 2 elevator, it's been down a little over a week. The technician come in, it was something above his head, so I'm waiting on an adjuster. I was told they would be here this week. I'm actually going to call the supervisor tomorrow to see what's up with that. Sometimes with the elevators, there's something that a normal technician can't diagnose, or he doesn't want to diagnose for safety reasons. So he wants to get, somebody that's more of a professional in here. And our elevator projects, we're coming along on them. We've got all approvals. We're trying to just coordinate everything right now. So hopefully 2-3 months we'll get started in Lorber.
Marty.
Here, kid. I'm not doing it, but in my head, I'm sticking out my tongue at him. I just wanted to know, there's been like a lot of musical chairs going on around here, people going into different positions, people leaving, and is it time for us to have a new wall chart, organizational chart, so we know where people are and who the boss is now and who it just kind of thing, it helps me. And
Yes, I will have one ready for us next town hall, and we'll have it out here so you can take one with you. We're working on that right now because, again, you're right. We have some vacancies, and then we've had some filled. We had two new people today that are here, so we will have that organization chart for you next town hall. Barb?
I wondered what the concern was about the people in motorized chairs and so forth coming in to get. Is it because they think that people are unhappy because it holds them up and they want to be able to get to be fed more quickly?
There's the question that came up was that it's a safety issue, that people are driving their power chairs and they're going fast, if they're going fast, and when they sit, the policy reads, you come in and 15 minutes, they sit you down 15 minutes before and then the server comes to you, and so on and so forth. But because we have now open seating, they come at different times. They don't come exactly at 11 or exactly at 4. And we have not had any accidents. Not that we're waiting for something to happen, but that's the reason why I went ahead and asked, how do you feel about this? And some people, I'm sure they might get a little hesitant of the line is not moving fast enough. But I think I don't even think that's the case. I think someone said, well, just tell them to slow down and let them, not the power chair users, tell the independent people, to be patient. To be patient. Everybody has a right to go through the line, and nobody, as far as I know, nobody has backed into anybody's toes or anything like that. So it's a little bit of both, but the most important thing is the safety, right? The safety. They want to make sure that those power chair users are going slow and they're not, racing down, because somebody might be getting up, and we don't want any accidents to happen. That's what the conversation was. Don't you?
Yeah, I drive a power chair and I'm in and out of the dining room like everybody else. The issue with the power chairs in the dining room is not so much the line of food that you're waiting to get, it's where in the hell do you park your scooter when you have to get off of it to go eat. Some of us are not required to sit on a power chair while we're eating. We just need it for transportation. We were told to park it in both ends of the dining room, and we go there to park and it's full of furniture. So where do you want us to park, and how do you want us to manage being in the dining room when you've got a table of 6 or 8 or 9 people, and they all are adamantly, they have to have that walker, and they have to have that stacked all around in the lines between the tables, and you can't get through to sit down, and if you're in there, you can't get out.
Okay, I understand that, yes. So we need to make sure that our dining team is able to take the walkers out of the way, and residents need to allow us to do that to make it safe for everybody to get in and out. Also, I don't understand the part of having furniture around in the back. Chairs? Okay, so, okay, I see. You don't have any place to park. Would it help if we had a couple of extra walkers on the waiting area? You can park your scooter there and then walk in with a walker. Okay, that's something we have to work on. Okay, I'm trying to find a solution. I know the solution is not always the best for one group. And then we do, we want to make sure it's safe for everybody, and we want to make sure that you have a place to park. That when we move, maybe we will have to have a designated area, Jeremy, for that extra chairs to go, so that they have a space to park, if you can still walk a few steps to get to the table. And if you can have a walker in the waiting area, we can supply a few walkers so you can walk in and leave the power chair or the scooter in the waiting area. I've seen some out there when I've gone to the dining room. People don't take them in, but they walk in. So maybe we will take a look at that. How many of you? Well, we have very few power users. How many of you can walk in if we had a walker waiting for you at the entry? Okay. If you use a power chair or a scooter, if we had a walker waiting for you in the waiting area that you can walk with your walker, how many of you can do that? Okay, so most of you can't, so most of you need to take your power chairs or your scooters in to get into the dining room. Okay, yes, Janet.
Uh, but I have a basket on the back of my machine where I won't get in a line because I could accidentally hurt somebody behind me because of this attachment. So I go directly to a table and a server takes care of me. Whether I'm last in line or first in line, it doesn't make any difference. I'm safe away from harming somebody else.
Thank you. That's really important. Thank you for being so cautious.
And reiterating myself again, but I'm looking at the safety factor with our vans and our buses. There is no maintenance whatsoever. I see nothing that is giving me the satisfaction they even check their lights to see if the tires are not flat on the set of duals. It's pitiful because you stress the word safety and yet we ignore that particular phase. And you've got quite a few running stock running around here. And again, I want to make one comment about one of your maintenance people that drives a go-kart with its foot on the floor. And I see him going by and he's probably twice the speed limit. And I worry about him because he doesn't do the stop signs. And if somebody comes up and sees that it's clear and then decide to pull out and he's flying by, somehow, some way, it's a loaded situation.
Bob, I'm going to ask you to come and talk to Jeff after the meeting. I need him to know so we can take care of that. Regarding the buses and the cars, we do check them. We do have maintenance, and Queen keeps the logs of the maintenance. You've told me about the rail that we had an accident with in the rail. That's going to be fixed if it hasn't been done so yet, and Gladys is here. A few, I don't know, I think it was last year, someone brought up the fact that one of the buses went out to Gilroy and it was very, it was very, the shocks were terrible and all that. We had it fixed. Now, was it fixed satisfactory? Is it because the buses are old? We can take a look and see the year. We're looking at the year of the buses and so on and so forth. But I assure you that we have also inspection on the vehicle inspections from the CHP. So if we weren't doing our logs and inspecting it and having what we need to do, we wouldn't be able to drive the buses out, or we wouldn't have transportation. So I assure you that we do have that. We do have the logs of when the cars get serviced. So in Gladys and Queen is the person in charge of doing all that, but I know Gladys is aware and she knows what the procedure is. So I assure you that we are looking at those things. Those are very important. All right, with that said, I will see you at Fireside Chat. Thank you so much. Oh, Marty has one more. Okay. Spoke too soon. Hold on.
Everybody else is chicken, and so I guess it's going to be up to me. We had a really lively discussion going on during resident council, and we were told that that wasn't really the proper venue to bring the issue up, but nobody wanted to stop talking, and so we had a really lively discussion, and it centered around the issue of a patient advocate. And apparently a lot of people had never ever heard that term, didn't know what we're talking about. And, I had 36 years in working in situations where there were patient advocates. And this is a person who is tasked with the job of getting feedback from patients, not just ordinary residents, but patients, about the care and about the preservation of dignity and respect, and the timeliness of care being rendered. Does this call bell really work? Does anybody know I'm ringing? That kind of thing. And so it's been brought up to various people who claim to not have heard about it, we're not trained for this, and that the ombudsman that the state has listens to complaints and then calls the facility and says, here, you fix it. And the person who receives those complaints here claims to not have any training in this. And so she is not responsible for being a patient advocate. And it kind of floored me to know that nobody knew what we were talking about, because I've always worked with patient advocates. But anyway, what can we do?
So let me see if I understand. You're saying not residents, you're saying patients. So I'm assuming you're talking about Lorber.
Yeah.
So we have a social worker in Lorber. We have a social worker in Lorber, and she is the advocate for the residents over in Lorber. And they do look at the call lights, and also the residents in Lorber or their families. We have the ombudsman's number, and the ombudsman don't just call the facility and say, "Hey, do this."
That's what we were told.
No, they come. They come and visit. They come and see, and also the state comes. If I were to say, my mom is in Lorber, and I don't think X, Y, and Z was done, I can call, and they will come. The county will come, and they come and visit Cynthia and say, okay, I want to see what happened. I want to see if the call bell for Mrs. Jones didn't get looked at, and we have to have, by law, we have to have all those records. If somebody complained, they need to come. If they find us liable, then we would get a deficiency. So we do have advocacy for Lorber. We do have advocacy for assisted living. We also have Jesse, who's the social services designee, who advocates. That's why we have a care team, the IDD team, Cynthia's World, Lorber, Wallenberg, Assisted Living, and also at Pavilion, where we meet together to talk about issues that are pertaining the residents and the residents' well-being and their need. But we do have, if you are looking from what I'm trying to, you're looking for a resident advocate, is that?
No.
No.
Patient.
Yeah, patient
advocate.
patient advocate.
I guess
So
the obvious next question is, do patients know that there is somebody to which they can complain or ask questions, and that they will be, do they know, in a sense, that they remember and that they're willing to take that step?
So the patients, and as you say, the patients and their family know when they come into Lorber, or when they come into Wallenberg, because obviously they might not be able to make their own decisions. Family members know, and family members get the numbers from the state. It says if you have a complaint, or if you have anything, this is who you call. And we give out all those numbers out so they could be the advocates for those patients.
Okay. Anybody else
I
have
think I have the
anything?
answer to that. Actually, we are advocates for each other.
Right.
We're advocates for each other, but I think that the question is that if I go over to Lorber and I have a friend in Lorber, and that friend says to me that it took me a long time to use the bathroom because nobody could come, or because I needed to be turned over one thing or another. The thing is, a lot of times the women are not allowed to turn the patients over because they're too heavy for them to handle. And they were wondering, who do they talk to advocate for this person that's in a bed?
So
I would be advocating for Joe Blow, right? I would be saying to the nurse or somebody that he's complaining because something is not happening for him that he wants to happen.
And you can go to the nurse.
So I want to know who to talk to about that kind of stuff.
That would be the social worker and Cynthia. So we
That's what
have
I thought.
management over in Lorber in every single area. So yes, if it's somebody in skilled nursing, then you would be talking to Ambika, who is the social worker, or go straight to
Yeah,
Cynthia.
and another thing too, so if you have people working different floors, they go back and forth because they're busy in different places, then they really don't know the patients and don't know their needs. So is there one person like on every floor who kind of knows everybody's needs? So that's
Yes,
taken care of.
we don't shift staff from one floor to the other. If you're working on third floor, that's where you're at. If you're so they can get to know the residents.
Yeah,
But if
years
you,
ago, I worked in a Navy hospital when I was in the service, and we knew who the patients were, what the care they needed, and we knew when to drop in and look in on them. That's what I'm talking about, being an advocate for those people.
and you certainly can. And
Okay.
if you go see whoever you go see
Yeah.
your friend and they're telling you that they're not getting the service that they
All
need,
right.
then you go to
Thank you.
Cynthia, you go to Ambika, you go to management over there. And
Okay.
if you don't get your results, then you come to me.
Yep. So we don't have to ask permission, we can go and do it and ask them. Okay. That's
So-
what they were asking anyway.
Soledad, I called a social worker and she indicated to me that she was not an advocate because she was not trained to be an advocate.
You call the social worker in Lorber?
Yes. I called Ambika and
Okay.
she told me she was not an advocate because she was not trained.
Maybe she misunderstood the question, but Cynthia's here and, yeah, because maybe she didn't understand the question because she is an advocate for we all are advocates for everybody, especially, in any community.
Yes and no. I don't want to have the responsibility of being.
Go ahead.
I personally don't want the responsibility of being an advocate. I will help somebody, but I don't want to be the advocate because that's a full-time job. It's not just oh, by the way, I'm just here. It's a full-time job for each patient. And I don't know if I don't know if the Ambika did become licensed or got extra training when you told me to go call her.
Ambika or any of the management, anyone is an advocate for residents. That's one of the things that if you see, that sign that says, if you see something, say something. Absolutely. So maybe there was a misunderstanding of what an advocate is, but we are all advocates for people who may need some type of service. So maybe that's what she didn't understand, but we will follow up. Cynthia is here and we can follow up. Yeah.
There may be a formal, right? And then, but what that person does in a hospital
It's
is
very
overlaps.
different.
It's the same, those services are being provided here.
Right.
If somebody needed financial assistance and they're in the hospital, they go to the patient advocate. Right? So
Right.
I think there's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's, Susie, I think there is some, as Sol is saying, some overlapping if you're talking about hospitals versus, it's the same thing. We still have a patient advocate, but again, it's not a job that is only this is what you do and that's it. But we can talk, if you like, we can talk to make sure that we're all on the same page. Right.
Member by regulation. While there's a designated patient advocate in a hospital in a skilled nursing setting like Lorber, that role is filled through the ombudsman according to the state. So if somebody needs a specific advocate that's a third party, right, to advocate for this person's interest, the ombudsman comes in, meets with that person, and advocates for that person's perspective with staff. So it's the role is met a little differently in skilled nursing than it is in a hospital. That said, Soledad's absolutely right. That's the reason we have interdisciplinary teams, so that everybody is talking about anything, whether it's a complaint, a change in condition, how do we make sure that that person gets turned if we don't have the right CNA on in the evenings or something like that. We're advocating and solving those problems through a really rigorous care planning model. Every one of those care plans, as I was talking about, we have 5 surveyors here looking at the care plans for the folks that we're taking care of. That's part of the state's responsibility to make sure that we are looking at all those elements and getting them addressed. So it's a multi-tiered issue, but this patient advocate is designated in a hospital by that term. It's through the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, California Advocates for Nursing Home Reform. That's through the Ombudsman's office. If that helps.
I've called the ombudsman and have pushed on the question and was told actually what I do is I called, she told me that she called here. That's what she did. She would look into the problem and she would contact you guys.
Okay. The ombudsman's here as needed. It's not unusual to have the ombudsman on campus. Oftentimes we call the ombudsman if we find that we have an issue with a patient that we're having difficulty resolving, or with a family member that we're having difficulty resolving. Sometimes we call the ombudsman in to say, we need a third party to help us figure out the best solution that represents the patient's perspective and also represents what we can actually do, right? From a staffing standpoint. So oftentimes we're the people calling the ombudsman's office too, because they're a disinterested third party.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. You want a cookie? All right. Okay. Just one last thing. Marisol just reminded me, fireside chat for March is going to be postponed. I will be on vacation that week, but we will see you at Town Hall in March. Thank you.
Thank you.